Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Crazy Ivan, how are you? How's the sound? Everything coming through okay? Trying to keep things a little quiet so as not to wake the house. All right, great, thank you. All right, let's take a look at what's happening here. First of all, crude oil, a little bit of a rough start this morning. It triggered in long, not sure if that was something one could have grabbed. We'd have to look and see. Let me know if you got long there. Then it got short. A little bit of a choppy start to the morning. So it's currently short, and that would be short from 39 if one got long, because you would adjust below the key level here. So kind of a crappy start. It looks like it's going to stop out. There's the next trade. Long at 61. Maybe it'll clear itself out now and start moving. Looking like it may want to test the $70 price level. We might see that. Looks like it tested it already earlier, late last night, and bounced right off of it, see? Anyway, it's long, 61. 69.77 is the first target, first profit objective, $160 a contract there for 16 cents. And then, of course, you can see 87.97. 07 way up here. Wow, gas is going to start getting expensive at the pumps. Yeah. So bouncing off of $70 a barrel late last night. And probably going to come up and test that. We may see that on this trade. Thank you, Roger. Not bad. It was a busy weekend for me. Working, speaking of crude oil here, and look at it go, by the way. Money management in sight, 69.75. Another number it might bounce right off of. And it just got as high as 74. I was going to say, yeah, working all weekend long on the Catapult Energy Futures. So excited about that, to get that finally out the door. It's going to be announcing a pre-launch special to all my favorite members like you guys, probably today. Let's see what's going on with this. Yeah, so look at that. Anyway, while I was talking, the Dow E-mini got short and came down and hit money management. And that one looked like it may have gone too fast to grab. I don't know, maybe. Let me know if you got short on the YM, but it's going to stop out at money management. No, maybe not. 62 got as high as, wait a minute, money management at 762, and it got as high as, does that make sense? Oh, wait, what am I talking about? The entry was at 89, so stop is at 88. Got as high as 87. There you go. Mixing myself up. And there is money management on crude oil. So if anyone's long on crude oil, move your stop to break even. Good morning to you, Al. So the YM got short. Don't chase that now. I mean, if you missed it, you missed it. That trade's already moved its stop. And if it hits the break even, we'll look for another one. If it comes back down, just missed that target too. Pound Aussie, pretty slow this morning. Not a lot of anything in that market. Still waiting for our first setup. You can see an early setup from like 5:30 this morning and not very much price action since. So sleepy market on the Pound Aussie today. And just missing that target on crude oil as well. The target on crude at 77, stabbed up to 76. And then stopped out at break even. And look at the YM. The YM survived its stop. It's come down. It's hit its target. 30 points. So the YM's already one and done. One and done. $150 a contract on the YM so far. Target 2 in sight. 743. All right, so crude also stopped out break even. So usually when we miss our objective by one tick, you want to grab a partial profit. Don't let it come all the way back down. But the trade was a little bit on the small side. And for target 1, I mean, I usually do that on target 2. This is target 1. You know, every trader's different. So maybe if you were grabbing a little bit, you might have got more profit than just one tick. But I think if you want to look for one more trade, it wouldn't be a problem. Well, if it wins. The YM that stops moved down to 781. So the YM's already hit its objective. That trade plan's finished. There's a second trade if anyone's looking for one, but this one did its job. Unleaded gas had a first trade of the morning that lost with Spotlight. So still looking for another setup on unleaded gas. Got caught up in a little bit of choppy price action in here. It's too bad that yellow trade didn't stay valid. It got into a short trade instead. So you had a setup on this first bar, well, this one bar over to the left, and then a reversing trade on the next bar over. So when you get this consolidation with opposing balance in the market, buyers and sellers kind of getting tired in the same location, sometimes you can get this back and forth type of trade setup. And sometimes they work out, but this one didn't. And of course, if anybody has any questions, feel free to type them in. Good morning to you, Keith, Randy, Armando. Thanks for joining. And if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, that's always helpful. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not a subscriber so that you can be notified when we go live. Sounding like a YouTuber. All right, so a few more people joining us. Johnny, Tremendous, John C. Good morning, you guys. Tremendous should have been allowing you to join anytime. You guys do hear me, right? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. Ah, your work schedule. Gotcha. All right. Well, at least that means you could hear me. All right, beautiful. I mean, it's kind of slow this morning. Some of our work's already done. Crude oil, we're still looking for another trade on that. The YM hit its goals already. Pound Aussie is yawning us to tears. Unleaded gas, not much there. These other two markets, I mean, we could take a look at NQ really quick, but not a whole lot going on with the NQ, at least with our setups. I mean, I'm watching this chart. I don't have a feel for it yet, but in case you don't know what this is, it's a bizarre looking chart, right? It's totally different than anything we're looking at on the other charts. This is a very unique setup in Spotlight Master Suite. Spotlight Master Suite has 9 setups, and they're all false. They're all false except for the last one. And that is a unique setup. It's a moving average crossover setup, but it requires the exhaustion of one side versus the other and the right price action on the other side of the balance line, plus the fast moving average on the correct side of the slower moving average. So when this morning started at 8:30, there was a setup right here. It went really fast, obviously, but this is an interesting setup. It can work really well. I'm not sure that this is the right chart for it. This is a rather large 6-point momentum bar because the 4-point momentum bar was even too fast. This one's pretty fast also, actually, but the trades are pretty large. But anyway, the white line is a 5 EMA, and this kind of teal-colored bluish line is a 21 EMA. And if the 5 is on the lower side of the 21, you're going to be looking for short trades, and it may be because it crosses over or is already below it. So what happened, we're looking at this chart, more of a learning experience for this unique setup that I've really not dedicated enough time to that I should have, because this is a really dynamic setup, actually, and it could work really well. You find a good chart for it, and you could do very well with this setup. So if you know anything about Counterpunch or Spotlight, they work the same. You got your sellers, or in this case, your buyers, exhausted or tired. They may not be that exhausted, but definitely tired, different levels of tiredness. And then you got your price action bar closing below the balance line down, and that gives you your typical setup, just like you would see with Spotlight or Counterpunch. The criteria, though, doesn't care about its relationship to the prior exhaustion levels like Counterpunch, nor does it care about the oversold, overbought levels like Spotlight, nor does it care about its proximity to moving averages like Spotlight. The only thing it cares about is that the faster moving average is below the slower moving average. That's the setup. It's very unique. It's different than anything we use with the other strategies, but this is one of the setups in the diamond level Spotlight Master Suite, and it can be very effective. And the first trade out the gate came down and, well, I don't know if it hit target one. I think it just missed it, 26. And it got to 26.25. So it missed it by one tick. But you can see how accurate that is, right? Pretty good. Probably went too fast. Well, yeah. You had like 9 seconds. Well, it did come back up. This was tradable because you had another chance to grab it. But the point is that it, pretty choppy, crappy market, but it did give you a pretty nice trade that missed a nice target by one measly tick. We're talking about 38 ticks. So what's the math on that? I'm too tired to figure it out. Divide it by 4. That's how many points. Anyway, 5 times 38. $190 if you hit target one. It missed by one tick. Anyway, so the reason why it didn't give you a trade coming up is because I made this pickier. So one of the things you can do, I don't know if you guys remember, I showed this, I think, on a session not too long ago, is that you can open up the calculator and you could affect the quality of these trades with your maximum bars for setup. And what that tells you is how many bars past the third dot do you start looking for setups. So you'll notice I had it set to 2. So on the third dot counts as 1. 1 bar over counts as 2, right? So that's why it gave a setup. Here you've got on the third dot, but then you have a down bar. So the setup can't be on the third dot because the fast EMA is still below the slow one. It has to be above. So the setup would have been on this bar, but I would have needed to set maximum bars for setup on the calculator to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I mean, that trade would have worked, but you'll find that the further away you get from your third dot, the less dependable the setup is. But just, it's an interesting input that you could play with. So like if I set that to 5, and 5 looks 4 bars to the right, so that probably still isn't going to give us a trade. Well, actually it did. But you could see that trade lost. So that's the reason why I don't go that far out. I rather get a setup that's close to the third dot, maybe 1 bar to the right, maybe 2 bars to the right. I don't know. So you could affect the quality of the trade, actually. The closer you get to the third dot, the fewer trades you get, but the higher quality trade you get. Also, the offset ticks of 8. That's a pretty big number. That's literally 2 points above. And I think I did that because it's a large bar. It's a 6-point momentum bar. So usually that would be set to 2. So you could play with those numbers to get different types of setups. But the way I have it now, let's put it back to what it was, because you get so many trades as it is. You probably want quality, not quantity. So then the next setup's another short, and that one also barely misses. It hit money management for another break even. And then the third trade, pretty nice winner. If you're going to target 1, that's good for 52 ticks, right? That's a good amount. 52 ticks is 13 points. 13 points at $20 a contract is $260, right? So the way this looks, and it looked kind of choppy and not the best trading chart, maybe, at least what you would think, but it actually did pretty well. It missed target 1 by 1 tick, got a break-even trade, and then a nice winner, and filtered out some noise. So this setup has performed really well on this random chart, a chart I haven't really spent any time on testing or anything. It's just something we're looking at. There was a setup way up here already also. That one obviously didn't work. But not bad, huh? This is a setup you can do a lot with, and I could see this setup working really well for swing trading, by the way. Because one of the things about Spotlight is it doesn't give a ton of trades unless you start turning on additional setups. And this one setup can give you a lot of interesting trades. So, all right, we had talked about needing another trade in unleaded gas for this trade plan, the first one losing, and then it did just get short on this small little trade and hit a break even as well. So that was only good for 17 ticks at target 1. Pretty low volatility on unleaded gas, and the plan still needs another trade to make up for that first loss. John's saying going to be big trades on a 6-point bar. Yeah, for sure. But you could also try it on the micro. You could try it on the micro NQ. The NQ is tough because the NQ is so volatile right now that if you go with a smaller bar, which might give you smaller trades, I mean, it certainly will, it also gives you just far too many. It moves so fast. It's just so crazy these days. So you kind of have to smooth out and clean up the chart with a slower bar, I think. That's one of the things I found with the 4-point momentum bar, which is that. I mean, that's a good sized trade too. I just think it's too fast quite often and quite noisy. The NQ is a schizophrenic market, not one of my favorite markets, but you can make a lot with it. But if you're not careful, it could burn you bad. So you got to be careful. That's why it's good to have something that is um, more about quality than quantity. And that's kind of why I chose this chart and this setup, because it filters stuff out. The EMA, the fast EMA and the slow EMA does a really good job of keeping you on the side of a short moving trend. And then if you could just be picky with it and discerning and discriminating and filter out a bunch of setups and only go for the ones that are the best. And I think working with these exhaustion dots with 1 or 2 bars over from that third dot, and then using your balance line and price action in addition to the EMA confirmation, you get some good setups. And you also pick up some really strong moves. So you could grab something that has that catapult feel, although this isn't catapult, but some of the trades feel like they could be. Speaking of catapult, it looks like the Catapult Energy Futures Boot Camp is about to get announced this week, maybe as early as today. I'm probably going to put a pre-launch opportunity for everyone in our Trade Hacking Club channel on Discord later today. I'm really excited about that. I have a 2-day boot camp planned for that. I made a little video for you. I'm going to put out there, I think, later today. Just putting the finishing touches on it. So crude oil did get short here again on Spotlight. Probably too many trades. I think we're only doing 3 on the mini session. So if anyone got into that yellow trade, that's the thing. I'd have to look and see if that was even tradable, because it spiked up and down, and I'm not sure if that happened super fast. I'd have to look at a 30-second bar or something to let one of you know. I wasn't watching this at the time. My computer was still firing up. I'm still on location, working off my laptop. It's been a little tricky trying to juggle with minimal real estate, monitor real estate. Yes, Chatlani, me too. Like if I had more monitors and I had more stuff, more real estate to work with here, I could show you some more things, but my laptop is chugging away, and TradeStation tends to crash when I open up too many things. Oh, you got to POQ as well? Good job. Very cool, JP. So did you not flip over to short? Did you just stay long? Well, that was a good move. For me, this could have been looking like a fake breakout to the upside, which could lead to a strong move lower. So I would find it hard to not get short here. That's not what happened in this case. It didn't move lower, but that's what I would have been thinking about, because that's the kind of setup I typically like, where it stabs up, no follow through, right through resistance. And I'm thinking, oh, good chance it's going to go lower. And then it gave the setup to go lower, and it looked like it was going to go lower, but then it didn't. But now, it's looking like it's going lower here. That first target $69.40, but maybe not. Anyway, probably too many trades. 4 trades in a mini session. Oh, you didn't get the short. Well, good for you. Or did you get the short and just not take it? I'm just curious how you handled that, JP. Okay. Let's put that on. I must have taken it off for some reason or didn't load properly. Yeah. Well, yeah, ramping up like this. Yeah, that's looking awfully supportive, isn't it? Anyway, the short trade just hit its target one. So if one were to grab all these 2 trades here, you're getting close to a good result by now. So if you're joining us, I pointed out when we first started the session this morning that crude oil popped up to $70 a barrel late last night and then bounced down off of it pretty strong. So trying to get above the $70 a barrel, it's getting pretty up there, almost into nosebleed territory now. Sign of inflation, yeah, takes more of your hard-earned dollars to buy the same gizmo, in this case, a gallon of gas. Man, scary stuff. So it costs a lot more money to fill your tank of gas at the pump, so you got to make money in the futures market trading crude oil to make up for it and to get revenge. The sweet revenge, nothing like revenge. Success, I should say. Sweet revenge. William, yes, every catapult is a different thing. I mean, it's an enormous amount of energy and effort that goes into each one of these boot camps. So the catapult is a modular strategy. It's designed for what it's designed for, and each one is going to be unique and different and will cost money. But this one's a super value. It's kind of like 4 modules in one. And I think I've priced it super fairly. I mean, literally 1 or 2 trades pays the whole thing. It shouldn't really be that big a deal. Hopefully not. I haven't come out with anything new in over a year. So I'm excited about this. And I'll just give you a quick peek at one of the trade plans I'm working on still. I've got numerous, because there's so much you can do with this unique form of trading here. But I'm going to show you one of them. And this is with the advanced gold trade assist attached to it, which also is a separate thing. Advanced Catapult Gold members get the automation added to their account at no extra charge if they attend the boot camp. So there's that. But anyway, you could see the 2 trades today. This one's still going. This plan starts at 9:05, by the way. So here we are at 9:30 and 9:53. This is heating oil. Heating oil is a unique market. It can be very explosive. The trades often look and feel like they've been flung from a catapult, thus the name catapult. to show you. I think there's a lot of potential in the pre-market and the overseas market. I mean, this is a typical catapult trade. Look at that. So I'm working on this technique you've probably heard me talk about called the scalp and run technique. And the idea is that you aggressively move to break even. And so you're going to get a lot of trades that break even. You're going to miss some moves, but you're also protecting your position, and you're going to catch a lot of moves that just feel like you've literally flung the contract or the price or whatever, the price bar, out of a catapult. Pretty cool. I love this market. This is fun to trade. It takes a little practice. Sometimes the trade might move a little too quickly. Like, I don't know. I wasn't watching this because this is right when we were in the trade room here. But, if it goes too fast, it goes too fast. So you just get the next one. This one certainly had plenty of time. But you can see that this isn't the only plan. But the idea of the scalp and run is to have high percentage targets that aren't very big. Let's go back and look at this other trade here. This kind of puts it in the perspective. I mean, these are not small targets. You're talking about 38 ticks, 48 ticks at $4.20 a tick. So what was 38 ticks? What's that, like 160? I forgot the math on it. But you can still make a good chunk in here. But you also then have the possibility for these massive runners, which could be 1, 2, 300 ticks sometimes. And very little risk. So I have some other plans that actually are measuring maximum excursion. I mean, it's not really measuring it. There's ways that I've used the trade assist automation to determine a good maximum level. And you could take this magenta target here and you could place it or target 4. There's different ways to do it. So that when you are in a runner and you hit a certain price level that's on average about as far as the runners typically want to go, you could take the profit instead of waiting for it to come up. So sometimes it'll come up all the way to here. You can grab it at that calculated area that's kind of, call it a maximum excursion or whatever, just an extreme target that will typically get hit on a good runner, that type of concept. See, like, for example, this one isn't as good of an illustration as what I just showed you, but it went from here all the way up to here. Do you want to go all the way back up and stop out? I mean, depends on how many positions you have, I guess, because it could hold and go lower, lower, lower also. But anyway, you could see that it's like a small catapult in this case. But anyway, this trade plan did its job. And I only have target 3 and the trailer here. So this is like a 2 position, but you can turn on the other targets too. Anyway, little sneak peek. Sorry, in order to show you this stuff, I'm juggling my monitor real estate. Kind of makes it hard to broadcast. Can't see everything all at once. Anyway, hopefully you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. There's plenty more. I've been trying to put examples on our Trade Hacking Club Discord channel, unleaded gas and crude oil. And I've added a 4th module, kind of like a bonus. I haven't worked a lot on it, but I'm seeing a lot of potential. Nat gas. So now it's 4 modules. It was originally going to be 3. So I've added a 4th. And nat gas is showing potential too. There's only so much I can do, but why wouldn't it work? The strategy doesn't really care about symbols. The setup is the setup, and it kind of works good on a lot of stuff. So nat gas also looking pretty decent. I did have a good example of nat gas. I think I took a screenshot of it. I don't have any of those charts open now. But nat gas is interesting because it trades in tenths of a penny. So the third digit over to the right of the decimal, right? A tenth of a penny is $10 for nat gas. So it's interesting. And maybe you go with a one and done approach on that, one trade a day type of thing, or maybe it doesn't even set up at all sometimes, but it's a good maybe additional market. And the nat gas report comes out on Thursdays, much like the crude oil report. Haven't tested that or looked at that, but I would think there's good volatility in nat gas on those days. It might produce a high quality setup once a week. I'm not sure, but it seems logical to me. Maybe some of you have some experience trading nat gas. I haven't really traded it much. Just sometimes those charts look pretty powerful. Let me see if I have an example of it. I'll show you. One second. I'm also working on a grains module with Catapult, which is also pretty exciting because grains can be very explosive. Soybeans, bean oil. I can't find my nat gas example, so maybe I don't have one. I'll post one on Discord if I get a moment. Anyway, if anybody has any questions about anything, I know we haven't really looked at Counterpunch at all. Let's just take a quick peek at soybeans this morning. This is that plan on Counterpunch that starts at 8:30. You can see a ton of movement here this morning in the first hour or so. It's less than an hour, 40 minutes. Let's see. So 8:30. Yeah, this one probably went way too fast. Yeah, 2 seconds. Nice trade, but not tradable. The next trade here, you get plenty of time. 8:31. Finally triggers in 30 seconds later. Not plenty of time. There's a lot of action. Look at that with a 5-tick momentum bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars print in 30 seconds. And then it gets short and it hits at least a target one objective. 10 ticks. That counts. That's what's that? $150. $150 a contract in 28 seconds, literally. I mean, if you get triggered in here, 27 seconds, and you got $130 a contract. So that's one cool thing about soybeans, and what I mean by explosive. And then there's another winner and another winner. So you get like 3 winners in a row before a losing trade. So soybeans did its job really fast, and you can see it works nice on this trade plan with Counterpunch. Maybe we should try putting this EMA trade setup on the Russell chart. Although the Russell chart, this is a 1.5 point momentum bar. I know, John, I don't know if you talk about this much when you do the room on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I know I've been showing this and never really look at it. Just another market I really want to spend some time on. It's on my list, the Russell. You can certainly see some good price action. Used to be $100 a point. Now at $50 a point, I just, like I said, I just kind of stopped. And then when the markets got crazy volatile with COVID and the half size contract, this market was just so fast. Everything changed. I've never really worked on it to see what to adjust to make it more suitable for what we do. And then I just kind of put on a 1.5 point momentum bar, almost doubled the size of what we were looking at 0.8. And now you can see, I mean, there's some good winning trades in here, but still, I'm not crazy about, 29 ticks to target 2, $5 a tick, $145. This one here, just trying to see. Yeah, you got enough room. I think you got enough. Yeah, it looks like that was tradable too. 25 ticks, so $125. Then another winner. So you got 3 winners in a row. Plenty of opportunity to make money on this chart. I mean, that's the most important thing. If you're going to trade a chart. So, I mean, what am I doing right now? Are you guys picking up on kind of what I'm doing here? This is literally the first step, the first thing you do of step 1 of a 3-step sniff test. You look and see if there's enough trades during when you want to trade. So, for example, when the market opens or a little bit after. First step, are there enough trades? The second step, are the trades an appropriate size? So I'm kind of doing both at the same time. I guess that's an appropriate size. I mean, that qualifies. Can you trade it? Is it too fast? Is it too noisy? I mean, those are questions you're trying to answer with those first 2 steps. Are there enough trades? Are they an appropriate size? Because that answers questions that you also need answers to. Is it tradable? Is it too fast? Is it too slow? Is it too big? Is it too small? Is it too noisy? Is it too much risk? Like on that NQ, maybe too much risk. So the first 2 steps, right? And you just look at a random day. Well, today's a random day, so look at today. Once you look at it, you like what you see. Maybe if you don't like what you see, one day is not enough to know anything. Go back and look at, 10 or 20 sessions prior and just see the trades. Are they big enough? Are there enough of them? Are they an appropriate size on average? If you could answer yes, then you move to step 3, which literally you start counting winning and losing sessions with a simple power of quitting, hit that goal on minimal trades. Could you quit your session positive? Yes or no? Or break even? And just look at the last 100 sessions and do a fast test. And if you can quit positive 75, 76, hopefully 78, maybe more percent of the time, and then throw on a few break-even sessions, and then you're going to count 15 to 18%, 20% at the most losing sessions. Now you got something that could be workable. That could be a really successful chart, trade plan, whatever. And then dedicate your time to loading enough trades, click by click, bar by bar with the UTA spreadsheet. If you go through that process, you're going to find the best chart for yourself to trade. And don't just look at one. Like you can look at this 1.5 point momentum bar. You could also look at a tick chart, maybe a 377 tick chart, maybe a 2-point momentum bar, maybe a 16 tick or a 13 tick. I don't know. Just look at several, because you want the best one to present itself. You want to see the cream rise to the top. And then that's what you dedicate your time to, your UTA work. Your UTA, if you don't know what that is, that's the Ultimate Trade Analyzer, the pre-programmed spreadsheet that I give away to all the memberships, because it's such an important tool. It's what you need to build a winning plan for yourself. But that's the process. Don't spend tons of time with the UTA until you go through the fast test, and fast test a bunch of charts and let the best ones rise to the top and scream at you to choose me. Pick this chart, pick me. Put me in the UTA spreadsheet. Let the chart just tell you. And you have to fast test enough of them to let the best ones present themselves. Is this the best one? I don't know. We've been looking at it for a long time. Sure would have won today, but I don't know. I haven't spent time with it. I mean, even on this crappy, this is terrible price action right here, right? This is no good. This is like what you never want to get caught up in. This is just a longer term triangle. But even inside of this, yeah, no, this is just garbage. Clearly, you don't want to ever get caught up in that, but it's going to happen sometimes. But luckily, when you have power of quitting, you're able to grab your profit and quit trading and then avoid this. So that's a real important thing you have to always remember. Every market, every chart, every strategy is going to give you your opportunities to make money and your opportunities to give the money back to the market. Even a strategy that wins 90% of the time is going to put you into this sort of crappy price action sometimes. So the power of quitting is so important. Trading less, not more. Take the money while it's there and then get out of the way. Has been on and off as far as how it's been performing, John, or that you've been showing it on and off? I'm not sure I understand your point. I'm not advocating this bar, as you know. It's just something I'm looking at because the Russell is a good market to learn. Just not sure this is the right approach. And maybe I'll develop a catapult for that. I don't know. Check out our short on crude oil, which is still going. Oh no, it stopped out up here. But it did hit target 2 first. That is another setup on unleaded gas short at 2.2009. I know it's hard to see. Targeting 1971 and 1949, and the stop is at 2061. And that is the setup off of the 20 SMA, where you have your proximity of the exhaustion at the 20 SMA, which is a good pullback zone. So unleaded's kind of been in this uptrend since earlier. A leg up, pretty extended reaction, subsequent action that mirrored the first action. Then what seemed to be maybe another reaction down ended up being a new action in the opposite direction. And reaction up into our 20 SMA. So is this something that's going to now trend lower? It's hard to do action, reaction, subsequent action analysis in a market that's not really trending. So it's hard to know, but if it is, we could find another move lower that will match this or be close to matching this. Action, reaction, subsequent action. And that's what that blue setup is good for, is the subsequent reaction. The subsequent action. This has all the makings of a good short trade. So that's it right there. Anyone interested? Again, the entry 2.2009. Gotcha, John. Thanks for clarifying. I didn't look at a Spotlight NG chart. JP, not sure which one you're referring to. I was looking for a new catapult example of NQ, just something I've been uh, tinkering with. Again, natural gas isn't something I've really spent much time with, and I think that was a 10 tick momentum bar. I just started with that. The trades seemed to be an appropriate size, or seemed to be enough of them. Basically, it's the same routine I just showed you that I did on the Russell. You got to start with the first two steps of the sniff test to really find a chart. And I'm not advocating the 10 tick, but that was a starting point. So I'm getting ready to wrap this session up, guys. Unless there's any specific questions you'd like me to address, this would be the time to ask. Again, if you wouldn't mind, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't gotten on our Trade Hacking Club Discord channel, you're free to join that as well. You'll find the link in the notes on the YouTube post. You'll see a link to join our Trade Hacking Club Discord. Other than that, hope you enjoyed the session today. I'll just wait a moment because I know there's a little bit of delay. See if anyone has any questions about anything in specific. All right, then, everybody. Don't forget, John will be in here tomorrow. I'll be back on Wednesday. We'll do the crude oil report. John will be here Thursday. I'll be posting some stuff on the Trade Hacking Club and Discord, so you want to watch out for that. Thank you, Roger. You stay safe as well. Al? All right, tremendous. Everyone have a wonderful day. See you next time.